When FC Barcelona stopped the secret cash, the man who controlled Spain's referees did not just walk away. He threatened to bring the entire club crashing down. So why was the most successful team on earth paying that man €8.4 million, quietly, for 17 years? This is the scandal Barcelona still cannot explain. To understand why this is so dangerous, you have to understand who was being paid. His name is José María Enríquez Negreira, and for almost 30 years he was not a referee. He was something far more powerful. He was the vice president of the committee that controlled every referee in Spain. Who got promoted, who got dropped, who was graded well, and who was handed the biggest match of the season. If you wanted to know which official would be standing in the middle of the pitch for the game that decided a title, Negreira was one of the men who decided it. And between 2001 and 2018, Barcelona were paying him. Quietly, through a chain of private companies, year after year after year. This is exactly the kind of story this channel exists to dig up. So if you want the receipts the headlines skip over, subscribe and stay with me, because it gets much worse. Now here is what makes this so explosive. Look at when the money was flowing. 2001 to 2018. That is not just any stretch of Barcelona's history. That is the greatest era any club has ever had. The era of the perfect team. 6 trophies in a single year. The best team the world had ever seen. And the entire time, the club was secretly paying the man who sat above the referees. Barcelona say there is an innocent explanation. They say Negreira was a consultant, that he made video reports on referees, briefing the players on each official's habits before a match. A normal scouting service, nothing more. There is just one problem with that story. And before we get there, keep one thing in the back of your mind. In a few minutes, I'm going to show you the exact threat Negreira made the moment the money stopped. It is the single detail that is hardest to explain away as innocent consulting. Hold on to it. When investigators went looking for the reports, the actual work, the thing €8 million was supposed to buy, they could barely find any. Years of payments, almost nothing to show for it. And the way the money moved did not look like a club paying an honest invoice. It looked like a club hiding a trail. The money did not go straight from Barcelona to Negreira. It travelled. Out of the club into a string of shell companies, routed through middlemen, dressed up as consulting fees, broken into smaller payments year after year so nothing ever looked too big. Wait, it gets more suspicious. One of those companies was owned by Negreira's own son. This was not a clean business deal. It was a family affair. And nobody on the outside knew a thing. Not the fans, not the rival clubs, not the millions of people watching Barcelona win week after week, season after season. For years, while Messi and Iniesta were winning everything, this secret stayed buried. It did not come out because of a whistleblower or a brave journalist. It came out because of a boring tax form. In 2023, the whole thing fell apart over a simple tax check. Investigators were not even looking for a football scandal. They just wanted to know why a tiny company called Dasnil 95 was getting millions from Barcelona. And the answer detonated across world football. It was coming from FC Barcelona. And the man behind the company was Negreira, the former vice president of the referees committee.
The biggest club of the century had been paying the referee's boss for 17 years. And the only reason the world found out was a routine tax check. And it gets worse, because there is a reason the payments suddenly stopped. Around 2018, Barcelona, under serious financial pressure, began cutting costs, and the money to Negreira was switched off. What happened next is the single most damning detail in the entire case. Negreira did not quietly walk away. According to the investigation, he turned on the club. He threatened to expose everything, to make public what those payments had really been for. Think about what that means. A consultant who only ever made innocent video reports has nothing to expose. He does not need to threaten anyone. But a man who believes he was being paid for something else entirely? He has leverage. And the investigation says he used it.
So here is the question I want you to sit with, and drop your answer in the comments before we reach the end. The payments are real. 8.4 million euros proven over 17 years to the man who sat above Spain's referees. Barcelona say it was innocent consulting, but the reports barely exist. The money was hidden through shell companies, and the moment it stopped, he threatened them. Innocent scouting service, or the longest-running cover in the history of the sport? You make the call. Tell me where you land, because once the secret was out, it stopped being a Barcelona problem and became a criminal one. Spanish prosecutors charged the club itself. They charged not one, but two of its former presidents. They charged Negreira, and they charged his son. The accusations: corruption, breach of trust, falsifying records. And then it climbed to the very top. Even the club's current president was dragged into the case. Now, in fairness, and this matters, Barcelona's defences are strong. No one has proven the payments changed a single decision. La Liga's own president says the club never paid to fix matches, and a court already threw out the biggest charge, bribery, on a technicality, that Negreira somehow did not legally count as a public official. But the rest of the case did not go away, and the deeper you look, the stranger it gets. And that is what makes this scandal so haunting. Nobody has produced a single proven fixed match. There is no smoking gun phone call. No referee has confessed he was ordered to cheat. What there is a fact that will not go away. For 17 years, across the single greatest era in its history, the biggest club in the world secretly paid the man who ran the referees. And to this day, it cannot fully explain why. The rival clubs are not letting it go. Real Madrid have joined the case as a wronged party. And as of 2026, it is still grinding through the Spanish courts, with those former presidents summoned to stand in front of a judge. Barcelona won trophy after trophy in those years. Banners that still hang in the stadium. Records still printed in the books. And hanging over all of it now is one question that may never be cleanly answered. What exactly were they paying for? If a club can secretly pay the man who controls the referees, then imagine what one referee can do when he's left alone with a World Cup. The next story is about the official who knocked Italy and Spain out of the 2002 World Cup, with decisions nobody could explain, and ended up in a prison cell. Watch it next, and decide for yourself just how clean the beautiful game really is.